Hiya, folks. We're back.
What's up?
How are you feeling, Colorado?
I'm feeling
after that set of songs.
I'm feeling good. I'm
Yeah?
feeling chill. You know, those are just very good, chillaxing songs. You know.
So we heard "Swim" by Fickle Friends, then "Ocean," the acoustic version by Andreas Moe, which I think is just a gorgeous song in its entirety, acoustic or not. And then the last song you heard was "Begin Again" by Purity Ring, who just released a music video, actually. That was pretty interesting. So I'd check that out.
Cool.
So speaking of new releases and
Yes.
things coming back, I mean, I was just bombarded with a flood of shows to watch this week. Last Thursday,
You were.
I had 3 shows to watch. That's a lot.
Yes.
So we saw Supernatural, which is still going on. The mid-season finale is coming up, I believe. The end-season finale. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, that's kind of late if it was gonna be a middle of the season thing.
They just aired their 12th episode.
Cool.
12th episode of their 12th season.
Wow.
For a show that was supposed to end on season 5.
It's been on for that long.
Yeah, they started quite some time ago, and I mean, it just shows.
I feel like it's still new.
Yeah,
it just seems like
great
it's
writing. They have great writing on the show. They obviously have great actors. Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki, Mark Shepard, Misha Collins, who really bring the characters to life.
Yeah.
Jared Padalecki from Gilmore Girls, of course.
Yep.
Jensen Ackles from Smallville and Dark Angel, and Misha Collins, who was in a few episodes of Charmed, and he's done a few other projects as well. I believe Mark Shepard has been in a few things, but I don't know too much about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But the show has such a cult following that they've kept it alive for 12 seasons now. And everyone who's been involved with the show has been able to do these conventions all over the world, year after year. And they have one... I think they have one each month in different locations.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, they don't have any near New York or Boston this year, if anyone's interested. They do have some on the West Coast and a lot down south.
Oh, okay.
And some in Europe as well. But the show itself, they've revitalized it a little bit. There was a ton of different plot lines, and since they follow folklore, it can kind of be molded to however you interpret it, because there's so many different traditions and cultures that you can pull these stories from. And it's a really interesting show, so I'd suggest checking that out. That premieres on the CW, I believe, Thursdays at 8.
Yes.
Also on the CW is a new show called Riverdale. Mm-hmm. That's on Thursdays at 9. And it's kind of a reimagining of the Archie comics, which I know my brother and myself read all the time when we were younger.
So fun.
They're those comics that were always in the grocery store, so you could just grab them on the checkout. Jughead, Archie and Veronica, Josie and the Pussycats, all of those.
Yeah.
So
and what's your review of the first episode?
It was good.
Okay.
But it was very different. So they kind of go for like a darker twist, because Archie's comics obviously is set in a world that's kind of separated from ours. It's a little different.
An alternate universe.
Yeah, it's kind of got a 90s feel to it, early 2000s. The outfits are cool and different, and the artistry is obviously amazing.
Well, and like the trailers seemed very dark too, so it seems like they followed the vibe that the trailers left, for it. Yeah,
so the show stayed pretty smooth at that, but it kind of had almost like a Teen Wolf-esque
I see that
vibe to it. Like they made it more of a mystery. And they add more plot to it, because obviously the comics aren't driven by plotline, they're driven by characters. So translating that to television is obviously a challenge. But I think they did a pretty good job. Some of the characterizations were a little off. Just because,
Like what?
I think Corey Cott's brother is actually Reggie.
Oh wow!
From the comics in the show.
Wow.
I think
Corey Cott is a Broadway actor. Just for those who do not know,
his brother is also an actor. And he plays Reggie on the show. but I think he did a great job.
Okay.
Jughead was characterized very well, which I was worried about because Jughead's one of the big characters.
True, yeah.
Betty and Veronica were okay.
Okay.
I think just because audiences who read the comics know those two characters so well and they're such polar opposites,
Right.
it's kind of odd to see it play out on screen. Archie, I think they took a different approach with than I was expecting. Just because he is darker.
He seems very alternative.
He's less comedic in the comics.
Oh.
He's a little more awkward than he's perceived on screen.
Yeah.
And obviously on screen he has that kind of odd dye job going on for the ginger hair. But overall, I think they put together a really good show, good production, and I hope it only increases in views and succeeds from here. So hopefully we'll see many more seasons from Riverdale.
Okay. And then what was the third?
And then the third show on Thursdays at 10 o'clock is How to Get Away with Murder.
Again, I still feel like that's so late for How to Get Away with Murder. It's like,
yeah.
That's like, I put that with, all the other Shonda Rhimes stuff. So like Scandal,
which also
Grey's.
just came back.
Yeah, and Grey's too, which just came back as well. And those are like, I feel like that's like prime time. You know what I mean? Like 8 o'clock. I guess I understand with Supernatural too, because I'd also group it in that. But like, yeah, it's very surprising. Like 10 just seems late. I guess with like recording and streaming services and stuff, people aren't necessarily watching it at 10.
Yeah, I think it's a little later too, just because it has a younger demographic, the show in particular. So
True.
It's
So
mainly people
are
in their 20s,
right,
college students that are watching this show, which is amazing. Viola Davis does a fantastic job. Alfie Enoch, who is in Harry Potter. Who else? There's been a few other people.
Is that Dean Thomas?
Dean Thomas from Harry Potter.
Love him.
Yes.
But there's speaking of Gilmore Girls, there's Liza Well.
Yep, who plays Paris in Gilmore Girls.
Yep, she is in that as well. I don't know her name in the show, but I know she's in it.
Matt McGorry, who's in Orange is the New Black and kind of has made a name for himself as a social rights activist. He's in the show. Jack Falahy, who went to NYU, has been around New York. He is also in the show. He's one of the main characters, actually. And so far, there was a huge plot twist at the end of the mid-season finale. So now we're just the audience is kind of healing from that a little bit and trying to see what will happen next, because no one was expecting it. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very, very different.
Gotcha.
I think this half of the season in particular, it's kind of a different show almost.
Okay.
I mean, the production's still the same. They kind of do the whole flashing between the past and the present and go from there to try to solve the mystery as it goes on, but and give you little hints and things like that. But the way they approach it from different characters' perspectives is a little different, because a lot of the time last season and the seasons before that, they focused mainly on Wes, who is the main character, and now they're kind of digging into some of the other characters a little bit more, and you see what they were seeing and how they're feeling. And it's very, very interesting. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I was looking at pictures of Riverdale because of your hair comment about the guy who plays Archie. And yes, very not natural red hair.
It's a little different.
Like very, what's it with, I don't know. Just like you can just tell. Like it just doesn't go with his face, I guess. Maybe he's too tan to have that red hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like usually pale people are red hair. Hello.
I think they may have dyed it red over darker hair too.
Yeah.
So that might have. It kind of looks like my color hair, which is not a natural red.
Yeah.
It's
especially
a little
for
more
a dude.
Red, but
like wouldn't really expect that for a dude. But as far as shows I'm watching, I'm actually rewatching. Well, I'm watching This Is Us, which is amazing.
I would highly recommend.
Yes, which I could talk about for a whole hour. But I'm also rewatching, like that I'm, up to date with, and I'm watching as the new episodes come out. I'm rewatching New Girl, which, if you don't know, is a amazingly, hilariously funny show that is on Fox, and it's with Zoe Deschanel, and it's in its 6th season, I believe. And I watched, I think, like the 3rd through like 4th season, maybe the 5th season, and I stopped watching it because I came to school, and it was just like a I just didn't have time, whatever. And now I'm rewatching it though because I never watched like the first 2 seasons, and it's really, really funny. Like, again, 10 out of 10 would recommend, but I forgot how funny it was, and so now I'm getting to rewatch it, and it's really nice to binge watch a 30-minute show because you can just watch a bunch of them in a row. So yeah.
It's kind of nice. So we're going to roll into some more indie music for you. When we come back, we're going to be talking about our songs of the week.
Yay!